Real Madrid's first major signing, Salah's surprise move, Barca's decision on Olmo, Chelsea lands Guehi, Manchester United's blockbuster swap deal. All this and more in today's episode. If we hit 500 likes, it will keep us motivated to bring you even more exciting content. So welcome to ScoreTime, and let's dive in. Against all expectations, Barcelona are still clinging to the hope of finalizing the registrations for their new signings. Dani Olmo and, believe it or not, Pau Victor. Can you even begin to grasp the magnitude of this fiasco? The deadline has passed, it's over, done, and dusted. And yet here they are, with this brilliant idea like, hey, we sold VIP boxes at the Camp Nou for a sweet 100 million euros, so La Liga, make some room. Apparently in their minds, that somehow miraculously resolves all their financial woes. You've got to admire their audacity at least. They're certainly not lacking in confidence. Honestly though, we're not exactly sold on this. This is La Liga we're talking about, not some kind of charity. Although, who knows? Maybe Laporta has a trick up his sleeve. Right now, though, the situation looks, to put it mildly, incredibly tense. And here come the other clubs getting involved. Sevilla, Atletico Madrid, and the rest of the pack have firmly planted their feet. Apparently, they're not too thrilled with Barca's boldness. Can you really blame them? It feels a bit like the playing field isn't quite as even as it should be. There seem to be rules for some. And then there's everyone else, if you know what I mean. These disgruntled clubs are already ramping up the pressure on Javier Tebas, demanding a full investigation into Barcelona's financial maneuvers. And honestly, that's fair enough. What's the alternative? Just pay whenever they feel like it, sell VIP boxes last minute, and then get away with it all? That doesn't sit right. But the really fascinating part is that these clubs aren't just whispering in hushed tones behind the scenes. No, they're ready to take it all the way. They're even threatening to escalate this to the legal level. They're prepared to go to court and have the league results declared invalid. And you know what? They have every right to make these threats. Think back to previous situations where similar issues were dealt with far more severely. If an exception is made for Barcelona now, then frankly, all this talk of financial fair play becomes meaningless. For me, this is a crucial moment for the entire Spanish league. Either the rules apply equally to everyone or we're looking at a circus. The stakes couldn't be higher, not just for Barcelona, but for La Liga as a whole. How this plays out could set a major precedent for the future. As for Joan Laporta, it's hard to overstate how much of a setback this would be for him. If Barcelona fails to register these signings, it'll be another major blow to his reputation and to the club's financial strategy. He's already got plenty of questions to answer, and this will only add to them. According to the press, Barcelona aren't just sitting back hoping for a miracle. They're actively working to make their case. They're trying to convince the league to bring back some one-to-one rule. If they pull that off, they'll be able to register their new players as planned. So they're scrambling, doing everything within their power. They're claiming that the money is there, but it's stuck in banking procedures. Apparently, the VIP box sales went through before December 31st. But as we all know, banks can be slow, especially around holidays. So the payment didn't go through until January 3rd, which is why they missed the deadline. What can I say? It's certainly a unique story. Let's see if they can make it work. Even if the league turns them down again, however, rumors suggest that Barcelona are already plotting a sneaky plan B. Word is, they're prepared to temporarily terminate Olmo and Victor's contracts for 6 months so they can join other clubs. Then, come summer, they could rejoin Barcelona as free agents. A clever move, if true. But as they say, necessity breeds invention, and if nothing else, their legal team is certainly earning their pay. So, at the end of the day, this whole situation is like a detective story, full of intrigue, scandals, and investigations. How will it all end? Well, I'd wager that only Tebas truly knows the answer. Reports from Caught Offside indicate that Manchester United are considering the possibility of selling Antony as early as January. The winger, who was purchased for a hefty £86 million, could be offloaded for a much lower fee. Given the club's inconsistent results since the start of the season, this decision seems to make sense. Originally brought to the club by Erik ten Hag, Antony showed initial promise, but the arrival of Ruben Amorim as manager in November has drastically altered his situation. The new coach has barely included Antony in the starting lineup, forcing the player into a new role as a wingback, essentially a defensive position with some attacking duties. This season, Antony has only appeared as a substitute in 4 Premier League matches, a far cry from his role as a standout winger at Ajax. There have been whispers of Antony's unhappiness with his current situation, and reports suggest that he is eager to find a new club where he can secure more playing time. At 24 years old, he is at the peak of his career and doesn't want to waste it on the bench. Although Manchester United would take a financial hit from the sale, The club urgently needs funds to strengthen their squad in January. Offloading players is now a necessity. According to the Times, Real Betis has shown interest in signing Antony on loan with an option to buy. This is hardly surprising given the player's talent. However, a loan deal is not the most favorable option for Manchester United, as they are in need of immediate cash. The club's league performance has been subpar, with only a handful of wins from 19 matches. A significant issue is Antony's hefty salary, which stands at €12 million per year. Real Betis would likely be unable to cover the full salary, though even partial compensation would offer some relief to United. For Antony, accepting a pay cut might be necessary, but it would at least allow him to get off the bench and play regularly. His ambitions are at odds with the current situation, and a move to Betis might offer him the fresh start he's looking for. Other clubs, including Ajax, Juventus, Benfica, and Newcastle, are reportedly keeping an eye on Antony's situation. However, there have been no concrete offers yet. Manchester United, it seems, is waiting for a real financial proposal. Ajax and Juventus have been rumored to be interested in a loan deal, but neither has made an official move as of now. What's unfortunate about the situation is that Antony's sale has become a crucial part of Manchester United's January transfer strategy. With no firm offers yet, the club is left waiting. The situation is complicated further by financial challenges, Antony's limited playing time, and the overall lackluster performances of the team. A move to Spain, where the football style is more attacking, could benefit Antony. The blame for his struggles seems to fall squarely on Amorim's tactical approach, and United may need a manager who can better define the team's direction moving forward. Can Manchester United regain their former level of performance? Is selling Antony the right call? Will they recover their investment? And who will ultimately secure his signature? Only time will tell. Manchester City are reportedly eyeing Omar Marmoush of Eintracht Frankfurt, and the 25-year-old is certainly turning heads. He's already built a solid reputation in the Bundesliga and the Europa League, and now he might be heading for an even bigger stage. It seems Pep Guardiola is looking to reinvigorate his squad after a series of setbacks, seeking fresh talent to help City reclaim their spot as the Premier League's top dog. According to the Daily Mail, Marmoush is one of the key targets for City in the winter transfer window. But City isn't the only heavyweight interested in the Egyptian pharaoh. Barcelona, Liverpool, Manchester United, and even Arteta's Arsenal are also reportedly in the hunt. Can you imagine the kind of showdown that's brewing? It's going to be one fierce battle for his signature, and we all know the rule. First come, first served. As for Marmoush, he's playing it cool. He's brushing off the rumors, focusing on proving his worth at Eintracht Frankfurt. And why not? He's under contract with the club, earning £25,000 a week, and still has plenty of time left to make his mark there. But let's be real. An offer from one of the Premier League's most dominant clubs is hard to ignore. The prospect of winning major trophies would be tempting for any player, no matter how loyal they are. Eintracht, while not eager to part with their star player, has reportedly slapped a £50 million price tag on him. The club is worried that losing Marmoush could significantly harm their chances of qualifying for the Champions League. And understandably, they don't want to lose a player who can be the difference maker in key moments. Liverpool could also be a major player in this saga. There are rumors circulating that they're working to extend Mohamed Salah's contract, but if that falls through, Marmoush is said to be high on their list of potential replacements. City appears to have the upper hand in this race, given that clubs like Newcastle and Manchester United are constrained by financial issues due to FFP regulations. If PSG enters the fray, however, things could get even more chaotic. An all-out battle between the financial powerhouses of European football. In response to the rumors, Eintracht has already started searching for potential replacements for Marmoush, preparing for the worst-case scenario and making sure they're ready if they lose their star player. So why is Manchester City so intent on signing Marmoush? It's his versatility in attack that catches Guardiola's eye. Whether it's playing on the wing or leading the line as a striker, Marmoush can do it all, making him a valuable asset for City's forward line. In my opinion, it's time for Pep to shake things up in attack. Something seems off with their current setup, and Marmoush could be just the player to breathe new life into the squad. As always, the most intriguing part of a transfer saga is the drama that unfolds in the months leading up to the deal. We'll be keeping an eye on the developments, staying updated on the latest gossip, and waiting to see where Marmoush will end up. What do you think of this potential move? At Anfield right now, it's hard to tell if it's a celebration or a wake. On one hand, Mo Salah is absolutely on fire this season. He's playing some of the best football of his entire time at Liverpool, carrying the team almost single-handedly, and his goal tally is staggering. Seriously, hats off to him. But then there's the looming issue. His contract expires this summer. Just 6 months left, and so far, silence. Liverpool fans are left in a state of disbelief because, come June, Salah could leave for nothing. So here we are, January 1st, the transfer window is open, and now the Reds are starting to scramble. Salah can officially talk to clubs outside of England if he doesn't have a new contract in hand by June. And which club loves to snap up world-class talent? Paris Saint-Germain, of course. PSG is reportedly already making a serious play for the Egyptian king, with an offer of £415,000 per week. Yes, you heard that right. A week. Insane, right? Now here's where it gets interesting. Liverpool, staying true to their frugal nature, has countered with £330,000 a week. Yes, still a massive salary, but with one key difference. Instead of PSG's 3-year deal, Liverpool is offering just 2 years. It's almost like they're saying, Mo, you're 32, about to turn 33. Why do you need all that money, Grandpa? What Salah ultimately decides remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, this situation is incredibly uncomfortable for Liverpool, and particularly for their owners, FSG. Do you see where this is going? I can't help but imagine a worst-case scenario. Are FSG really prepared to let their crown jewel walk away for free? Or will they dig deep into their pockets and keep him, even if it means shelling out £3 million a month for a player in his mid-30s? Let's face it, Liverpool isn't exactly known for splashing cash on wages. But at the same time, Salah is still the driving force behind the team's success. Replacing a player of his caliber would cost a small fortune. In today's market, top-tier players come with a hefty price tag, often more than the cost of an entire jet wing. And even then, there's no guarantee that whoever they bring in could deliver the same kind of impact Salah has had, or avoid disappointing the fans. FSG has already shown some flexibility by reportedly offering Salah a massive new deal, something that goes against their usual conservative approach. Salah already makes more than anyone else at the club, £350,000 per week. Extending his contract would likely mean bumping that up. Isn't this madness? FSG might ask. He'll be 35 when this deal is up. But here's the hard truth. Salah is simply too valuable to let go. He's the face of the club, and his value transcends just goals on the pitch. Surely FSG can't afford to let him slip away to those soulless oil-backed giants in Paris. Luckily, there's still a way out for FSG. They just need to break from their old rules and have faith in Salah's long-term value. They need to imagine this: Salah leaving Liverpool in 2.5 years, not only as the Premier League's all-time top scorer, but also as the club's greatest ever goal scorer. That sounds far more appealing than the alternative. Salah leaving this summer, still in his prime, to play for a French league team backed by oil money. At least he's not heading to the Saudi-backed clubs in England yet. What do you think? How will this saga end? Will Salah stay and solidify his legacy at Liverpool? Or will he pack his bags for Paris and slip into PSG's colors? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So, there's some buzz going around that Marcus Rashford might be saying goodbye to Manchester United and heading across the pond. But where exactly? Well, word is that the MLS could be calling, offering a whole new adventure. And, of course, some seriously tempting paychecks. Imagine it, Rashford, not dazzling on the cold, rainy pitches of England, but lighting up the field in Miami or Los Angeles. Not a bad gig, right? But let's pump the brakes for a second. Just to refresh your memory, Rashford has hinted in the past that he wouldn't mind shaking things up and exploring new challenges. And honestly, after things didn't quite work out for him under Ruben Amorim, especially with Sir Jim Ratcliffe's arrival, this move might be looking more plausible than ever. According to reports, after Rashford publicly stated that he's ready for a new challenge, MLS clubs have apparently taken notice. They're reportedly gearing up to make him an offer that's, as the saying goes, tough to refuse. Here's the twist though. Despite all the MLS chatter, Rashford seems to be leaning more towards staying in Europe. And let's not forget, he still has 3.5 years left on his hefty £375,000 per week contract at Manchester United. That's no small change. The Red Devils naturally won't let him go without a fight. But if Rashford does decide to leave, it could open the door for Amorim to bring in much-needed reinforcements before the transfer deadline on February 3rd. And let's be real, United could certainly use some fresh faces in the squad. As for Rashford, he's clearly trying to get his career back on track. After a rough patch under Amorim, where he found himself spending more time on the bench than he'd like, a move to the MLS would definitely be surprising. But let's face it, Rashford has always enjoyed his time in the States. and Americans have a way of making their offers hard to turn down. United would likely prefer to sell Rashford outright, but if the right offer comes in, a loan deal could be on the cards. And rumors suggest that Rashford has even enlisted a top-tier sports agency to help boost his chances of making a move. The guy's clearly weighing his options, and clubs across Europe are keeping an eye on the situation. Now here's where things get really interesting. Manchester United is reportedly valuing Rashford at £50 million, but selling him won't be a walk in the park unless they lower that price. If they do sell, it could help ease their wage bill and free up funds for Amorim to make moves in the January transfer window. And the cherry on top, there's talk that Rashford could be used as part of a deal to bring Victor Osimhen to Old Trafford from Napoli. Yes, you heard that right. Osimhen has long been on United's radar. And now, Napoli seems to be showing interest in Rashford. Both clubs could stand to benefit from a blockbuster swap deal. United reportedly values Rashford at £60 million, while Osimhen's release clause is set at £62 million. The Nigerian striker isn't exactly seeing eye to eye with Napoli's management, which makes this move seem even more likely. And guess what? Antonio Conte, Napoli's boss, is reportedly open to the idea of sending Rashford to Serie A while bringing Osimhen to Manchester to bolster United's attack. It's a pretty crafty plan, isn't it? So, what do you think? Where will Rashford end up? And how do you feel about this potential swap deal involving Osimhen? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. It's no secret that Liverpool is looking to strengthen their attacking options, and it seems like they're ready to bring in a top-tier striker. Enter the rumors linking them to Alexander Isak from Newcastle, a move that could have huge implications for both clubs. First, let's talk about Darwin Núñez. While he's got the raw talent and potential, it's clear that his finishing has been inconsistent. His struggles in front of goal are becoming more noticeable, and for a club with Liverpool's ambitions, that's a real problem. With reports suggesting that Milan is interested in taking him on loan, perhaps a change of scenery could help him rediscover his form. However, this also leaves Liverpool in need of someone who can finish those chances with clinical precision. And that's where Isak comes in. Isak has been impressive for Newcastle. Technical, fast, and with an eye for a beautiful goal. His consistency in front of goal sets him apart, and he's certainly someone who could elevate Liverpool's attack. The key question here is whether he's open to a move. With Newcastle under Saudi ownership, the club has high expectations. But if Isak is feeling frustrated with their progress or not quite seeing the title challenge he'd hoped for, a move to Liverpool could be an appealing option. Liverpool is a club that competes at the top, challenging for trophies and playing in the Champions League. A perfect match for Isak's ambitions. However, there's a major obstacle: the price tag. Newcastle will likely demand at least €100 million for Isak, especially in January when it's hard for clubs to part with key players mid-season. That's a significant investment, and it will test Liverpool's resolve. Are they willing to break the bank for an elite striker, or will they settle for less? For Liverpool, this is a real litmus test of their ambitions. Isak could be the clinical finisher they need to take their attack to the next level, complementing the likes of Mohamed Salah and Luis Diaz. But it will require a significant financial commitment. As for Núñez, Liverpool needs to decide if they're willing to keep working with him, or if it's time to let him go. If Milan's loan offer is legitimate, it could be a win-win for both parties. A chance for Núñez to reset and find his form elsewhere while freeing up space for Liverpool to bring in someone who's more reliable in front of goal. Overall, I think Liverpool should seriously consider going all out for Isak. They need a killer striker, and he could be the perfect fit. As for Núñez, it might be time for him to seek a fresh start, whether it's on loan or a permanent move, to help his career progress. What do you think? Should Liverpool break the bank for Isak and move on from Núñez? Or do you think the Uruguayan deserves more time to prove himself? Let's discuss. The Marc Guehi transfer saga is shaping up to be an interesting one. Given his rise at Crystal Palace, it's clear that Guehi has developed into a top-tier centre-back, and it's no surprise that bigger clubs are showing interest. Chelsea's potential move to bring him back to Stamford Bridge makes a lot of sense, especially considering their need for defensive reinforcements under Enzo Maresca. Guehi's familiarity with the club and his growth since leaving Chelsea could make him a great fit to strengthen their backline. Chelsea's financial muscle is always a factor in these types of negotiations, and if they're truly committed to bringing Guehi back, they could easily outbid rivals like Liverpool, Newcastle, and Manchester United. The question then becomes whether Chelsea are willing to pay the £75 million that Palace initially demanded, or whether they can capitalize on the possibility of a lower price due to Guehi's contract expiring in 2026. However, the twist is Guehi's rumored interest in Liverpool. If Guehi feels that his next step is competing for top honors in the Premier League and playing Champions League football, Liverpool could offer him that opportunity. They are in need of defensive reinforcements, and Guehi would be a solid addition to a defense that has been inconsistent at times. If he's leaning toward Anfield, it would certainly be a blow to Chelsea, especially if they're looking to strengthen their own defense with a player they developed. The whole situation makes this a fascinating transfer to watch. Does Guehi want to return to the club where he started? Or is he ready for a new challenge at a club that's been consistently fighting for trophies? If Chelsea are serious about re-signing him, they might need to move quickly, as the longer they wait, the more likely it is that Liverpool or another club could swoop in. Personally, I think it's still too early to say where Guehi will end up. But Chelsea's history of aggressive transfer moves combined with their clear need for defensive upgrades could make them the frontrunners. However, Liverpool will also be a tough contender if they truly want to bring him in. What do you think? Will Guehi make his way back to Chelsea, or do you see him heading to Anfield instead? This is one of the most intriguing transfer stories to follow. William Saliba has been an absolute revelation for Arsenal, and it's no wonder that top clubs like Real Madrid are eyeing him. His performances over the last 2 seasons have cemented his place as one of Europe's best young defenders, and his potential is through the roof. The proposed £83 million bid from Real Madrid is certainly a statement of intent. Madrid has a history of spending big on top talent, and Saliba fits the mold as a long-term solution to their defensive needs, especially with their aging defense. The combination of his age, skill, and consistency makes him an ideal candidate to help shore up Madrid's backline for the future. However, Arsenal is in a strong position. Saliba has become a key figure in Arteta's system, and with Arsenal still chasing their first Premier League title in over 20 years, Saliba's loyalty to the project and his ambition to win trophies with the club might outweigh the temptation of a move to Madrid. Arsenal has already shown their intent to keep their star players, and rejecting a massive bid from PSG last summer demonstrates they're not willing to let Saliba go easily. The personal factors here are huge too. Saliba himself has expressed that he feels at home at Arsenal, and with the possibility of winning the Premier League and potentially competing for other major honors, he might see his future in North London. The challenge of taking Arsenal to new heights under Arteta could be far more appealing than the prospect of joining a star-studded Real Madrid squad. That said, Madrid's financial power and their persistence in this pursuit shouldn't be underestimated. If they push hard enough, and Saliba begins to feel that it's time for a new challenge, the pull of Madrid might be too strong to resist. And let's face it, joining Madrid, with their rich history of trophies and constant competition for the biggest prizes, would be tempting for any player. In the end, this could come down to the ambition of the player and the strength of Arsenal's resolve to hold on to him. If Arsenal can offer him a future filled with success and keep him happy, Saliba might well decide to stay. But Madrid's bid will surely make it a difficult decision. What do you think? Will Saliba stay at Arsenal and help them chase titles? Or will Madrid's offer prove too tempting for him to turn down?